Alright, so today we're going to be taking a look at an animation of the Death Korps of Krieg by AbsolutelyNothing. As always, I'm going to be leaving the link to the original video and channel down in the description below, so we're going to make sure that you check them out. So hopefully the Bloom animation video comes out right before this one. I'm going to try to put these ones kind of back to back. Since I do have some time today, not a whole lot, but enough to do small videos, I figured I'd sneak in 2 animation films on those types of days, just because they are shorter, and I've heard great things about this video. Excited about what the Death Korps of Krieg video that Sodaz did a little while back, although I do believe he had to take it down, but some people have been able to re-upload it, and heard this one was great as well, so thought to give this one a view today. So I'm not going to waste too much more time. Let's go ahead and get to the actual video, but before we do, don't forget to like, subscribe, it really does help me a lot. Hit that notification bell so you get notified every time I do upload, and let's go ahead and see the Death Korps of Krieg. Nothing says Krieg more than just seeing your boy kind of get smoked right there, and then you're just kind of like, oh, okay, damn. Okay, so trench type setting, very reminiscent of like World War One. Okay, let's see where this goes. Okay, so he's got the plasma one right there, or shit, is that what it's called? Damn it, it's been a while. Okay, so like say in a trench type setting, right? Or obviously being in like a defense like this. Yes, you need people to be able to look overhead to be able to see like if you're getting rushed or people are coming, but you don't necessarily need too many people. I mean, I understand this is just a film. But honestly, just a couple, like every, what, say 25, maybe even 30 meters. But, I mean, 15 meters, 15 to about 25. Let's say around there, depending on how many people you do have. But just like that dude that just got shot, if you have a lot of people like that, you just have somebody, it could either be a sniper or machine gunner. I don't know how close they are to the enemy, but typically in these type of environments, especially in World War One, they're really close. So if you're just have your head popping out, and none of them are really shooting, there's a chance you could lose a lot of people. But then again, these are the Krieg.
I don't care. Keep contacting them until we get a reply. Until we get a sit rep on our regiment to our east, we cannot act. Send in reserves to reinforce further down the line. Make sure that flank is held. Call in danger close bombardments if need be.
Sir.
I just realized this is the first time I've heard someone of the Krieg speak. Technically, in the other Death Korps Krieg video, when they're using the artillery, you hear them say, "Ash," or something like that. I mean, essentially fire out. But it's the first time I heard like somebody put a voice to a Krieg. Got a little server there. Okay.
State your number and regiment, guardsman.
Troop 302-1, messenger from the 301st Krieg Regiment.
Our eastern flank. We've been trying to contact you for the past 3 hours. What's going on?
Our lines have taken heavy casualties, and communications have been cut. Our commander sent my squad to report that the 301st will be withdrawing to the second line due to crippling losses.
Retreating? We have orders to take the Heretic line and secure as much land as possible for the 22nd Regiment inbound. We have to advance. Get our armored platoons ready swiftly. I want Earthshaker rounds raining on their lines until I give the order to stop. Have the guardsmen ready to go over. Guardsmen, where's the rest of your squad?
Dead, sir.
Very well. Join the lines.
Yes, sir.
Very World War One reminiscent. Just trying to get as much land as possible, but typically, you know, from what I do remember from history, they weren't really gaining. They were losing a lot more people than they were actually gaining land, and I'm assuming that's kind of what's going to happen here. I feel like they're going to make a big rush, and shit's going to get crazy. All right, I was just making sure that, like, is that a commissar? The type of people that if you get stuck with the Krieg, you're kind of screwed, because from what I do remember is that they'll kill you if they don't see you being as motivated or as faithful as they are being. But here's my thing. Since he doesn't have the mask on, right? I'm assuming they're not on Krieg, right? And because of that, if he doesn't need a mask, they don't technically seem like they need a mask, unless it's at this point that it helps benefit them somehow. But I mean, I do know that a lot of them were supposed to be like born in vats, and some of them are incredibly young and teens, and that they cover their faces still. But I mean, if you've ever put on a gas mask in any type of military bench, it's really, really hard to breathe in them. And then just being able to run like 50 meters or 100 meters, that's just going to get you winded insanely quick. So if it's not necessary, because especially if he's not wearing it, is it necessary for them to wear it? I'm talking more from like a just logical perspective. I mean, I could be completely wrong. Maybe they do need it, or maybe they just wear it because that's what is a part of their uniform, right? Or they're already accustomed to it somehow, physically.
Guardsmen, fix bayonets, equip bayonets.
Okay, first of all, fix bayonets. If anyone ever said that in the military, specifically in the Marines, they'd be like, fucking send it, bro. Everybody would get pumped in a sick kind of way, I guess. But first of all, I saw him do this. He did not have anything in his ear that I saw. Fix bayonets, though. Dude. Okay. Yeah, if you've been in the military, you know how giddy probably a lot of specific infantry members would get if they heard that.
Bayonets, be ready for blood!
I'm assuming cultists, or they look like people that were from like a hive city, possibly. Also, for a second there, I thought like maybe shoot while you're running, but then again, incredibly harder to be accurate. Even though I heard that those guns don't have as much recoil as say somewhere today, or have any recoil whatsoever. But even then, to be able to shoot accurately, you have to slow down. But the more you slow down, the more you're going to be out in the open for a long time. So kind of a straight run to it is probably your best option, right? Hopefully the enemy aims for the other people instead of you. And from what I heard, and I also heard this on Generation Kill, and I was also told this as well by some of my seniors, that if you're in a situation, right, like you have to cross some kind of danger area, or in this case, kind of their version of a no man's land. You know, say in Call of Duty, right? People like to zigzag or serpentine, they call it. I always heard the longer you're out there, the more of a chance you are getting shot. And quite frankly, in real life, people don't have as good of an aim as they do in a game. Because they're not having to account for the recoil. They're not accounting for maybe someone is actually waiting for them to shoot to be able to spot them. Or many other factors, right? And so, straight line, as fast as you can go, is supposed to be the best method from what I've been told. I don't know how true that is. If someone does know or have an opinion on that, please let me know down in the comments. Okay, that was good. That was making my heart pump. Good. He's got some security. When they dropped the frag, even though it was technically a smoke, obviously you don't yell frag. You only yell like frag out, or just the word frag in general, as if you're throwing it. Obviously, I'm just trying to make connections here. But if you get one thrown at you, or if you mess up and it ends up falling on the ground for some reason in front of you, then you said grenade, because then that signifies like, hey, it's almost right on you, right? This guy's got his security. He seems like he's covering his buddies. And well, we'll see what happens next. Okay, wait. I'm sorry, I gotta pause it, man. E-tools. I know that this is supposed to be kind of a meme for the Krieg, but I said it in another video as well, is that I once had a combat instructor, right, when I was going through the School of Infantry, or SOI, and he mentioned about how he had gotten an E-tool kill. So that collapsible shovel, right, the thing we used to dig our little fighting holes. I remember somebody commented on that saying too, like, you know damn well your combat instructor was just hyping himself up. I'm like, dude, I don't know. There's something about it whenever it comes back to a hand-to-hand combat type experience, instead of actually just like a shit out. There's something more intense that kind of goes through your veins. I mean, obviously, I never had a situation where I did that, but even like when I used to do jiu-jitsu, a little bit of kickboxing in the past, it's like a little bit of adrenaline, right? Just knowing that you're gonna have to get close and personal with someone. Also, real quick, when he threw that frag out, that one actually being a frag. Typically for us, just trying to relate it to today's world, typically wait about a second or two after it goes off, because, you know, things are still being kicked up in the air, and then we would typically go. He had the right idea, consistently firing, keeping his head down, but obviously if you get really close, it looked like he had kind of an automatic axe, or like an axe that had like a little chainsaw on it or something. And obviously when he got too close, he ended up being able to turn the table, because obviously this was more like a long range type rifle, your basic M4, so to speak. So interesting to see how this is going to play out. There's about 25 seconds left. Alright, so let's go ahead and talk about that for a minute. It's never a dull day whenever I look at anything Krieg related. So, again, animations, man. The community that just makes these, just for fun, even, right? I'm glad that I finally got a little bit of dialogue, or at least some kind of voice to put to a Krieg, although that does also depend on the voice actors. And the part when he said about retreating, right? Now, obviously, Krieg, that's not really in the vocabulary, right? And I would say more just moving in a different direction to outflank the enemy. I did also notice how they did have the whistle as well, as far as like telling them when to charge and all that. Still don't know exactly who they were going against. I'm gonna assume cultists, some kind of hive gang, something. I mean, they did say heretics, right? And as soon as they got in the trench, it seemed like they kind of faked them out with that smoke that they kind of threw initially, and then after that, especially, I don't know. I mean, I know how to take a trench, right, with like a squad. I mean, because that was kind of the training that we also kind of specialized in, even though we haven't really done too much, from what I understand, too much things trench wise in like actual in country, essentially, right? But as far as going in through a trench, typically we would come in through one side, and typically before we would come in, we kind of do what they did, except for us, we would lob a frag, although we do like notionally, or we use like a blue body, which is essentially a training frag. And once we did that, we cleared the whole trench, and you know, they got the little green Ivans in there, and sometimes they would be kind of like almost side by side, so you really didn't have to be that accurate. So you can just kind of shoot, and you don't really need to look through your actual sight. You can look right above it, and then that's why I kind of like when they made entry, right? And you got this guy just kind of shooting everybody pretty easily because they're all essentially in the line. It's really easy. What was it called? A machine gunner's wet dream, I think it was called, right? Or like just having so many people close together as well, right? Which obviously in a trench can be somewhat difficult considering that you are in a small area. And overall, I just thought the entire thing was incredible. And sometimes, I just like to look at the comments. Somebody said, I was waiting for the shovel to do the job and was not disappointed. It did have pretty good sound effects as well, right? Yeah, man, sometimes just reading through the comments, it's really funny too, because I see it sometimes where people will play a character with their channel, right? Or like they'll name, the name, for example, would be like random custody, right? And they'll have a picture of a custody, and then they'll kind of just play that character in the comments. And then when other people start interacting with their own character, it can be like, say, for example, a Kriegsman. It's kind of what makes it really funny to just kind of see that interaction, and also very enjoyable in general. I feel like for everybody, right? Because then people start like coming in, and it just kind of gets like their own little story, I guess, or at least a little dialogue kind of going, which I think is really cool. So I don't have too much more time. I have to go take care of some things, but that's going to go ahead and do it for this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, really does help me a lot. Hit that notification bell so you get notified every time I do upload. Hit that dislike button if you didn't like it, and leave me a little comment as to maybe what it was. Hopefully I can get this video out the same day as the Bloom animation reaction video that I'm doing earlier today. And I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.